And we are live. Good morning, kids. HooDeeHoooo! Welcome to today's special episode of the Kong Family Show. We get to introduce to you once again the lady, the incredible God-sent angel who put out her story. And her story actually changed my life. I got to tell you, Britt, because until I saw your story, I thought it was stupid. I thought water's just water. I was watching Tim post about it all the time and just laughing and giggling and smirking. But I'm one of those people that I never said anything. I'd just give him likes and move on. But I never said anything because I didn't know anything. And so I certainly wasn't going to go yammering up a storm about something that I didn't know anything about, which is what a lot of people tend to do. Me, I was just like, yeah, whatever, give him a like and move on, you know. And
yeah,
I did that for a good 6 months and wasted 6 perfectly good months of my life. And, you know, and then that day that your incredible story came across, I was like, well, hold on 1 second now. Maybe I better go ahead and reach out and say, hey, bring me some information about this Kong's water.
yeah.
It's like that's the only, I started calling it Kong's water before I even knew what it was. It just, when I heard that it was pronounced Kongin, immediately that big gorilla came to mind. And so I just had to roll with it, you know. And so, yeah, today on the Kong Family Show, kids, we have the lovely Brittany Dyches, the angel that changed my life. And she's coming to us live from Ephraim, Utah, correct?
Yes, and it's freezing here this morning.
Yeah, you know, probably like you could spit from one side of the town to the other, right? Isn't Ephraim pretty small?
Much. Yeah, I tell people we're a one-stoplight town, so it's just small. And I was born and raised here, and it just, I don't know, holds a special place in my heart for sure.
Well, I'm excited to share your story because you actually came on the show quite a long time ago, probably about a year ago.
Yeah.
Back at the beginning when we were doing the show, I wasn't recording them because I, like a knucklehead, didn't see the value in recording them. And so I had to have you come back on again so that we could share your story, get it recorded, get it up on the old YouTube, and make it so you could come and share. We could share it with the world forevermore. Come here, honey, my sweetie's right here. Remember, Brittany? Here's my better 99%.
Oh, she's so great. Are you headed to work?
Yeah.
Okay, have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Love you, sweetheart. Have a great day. Yeah, she's going out there and braving the weather, and she's amazing. She's been working at Albertsons, Fresh Market, and now Macy's for 29 years. And in 29 years, she's called in sick 3 times.
Oh,
it's
wow.
Really crazy amazing. I'm so proud of her. She is such an amazing woman. I don't know where I'd be without her. And so, yeah, it's really exciting to have her part of my business now too, because she you know, it's kind of interesting. I got to share a story with you. We had this pitcher, a glass pitcher, a real nice glass pitcher that we had up above our kitchen, you know, up above our oven and that kind of thing. And it's been up there, probably hasn't been touched because it's way up there. And, you know, we haven't touched that area for probably 10 or 15 years. And one day she pulled that thing down and it was just covered in grease from being above the oven for all those years. It was literally covered and soaked inside and out with grease. And this was kind of the turning point for her when it came to Kong's water, because I took some 11.5 water and started cleaning that grease off, and we did it on video, and the grease literally came off, and all I used was the 11.5 water. And at first she was thinking, it's not going to work. And then as that grease just started melting off the side of that glass pitcher, by the time the video was over, she's like, wow, it's amazing. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
She ended up, a month or so later, she ended up investing in an Nespa and then buying the K8 underneath her Nespa. And so right out of the chute, she's got 2 positions, and And
That
she's
is
already gotten her
awesome.
first check, and it's exciting to have something that you can work together with your spouse. You know, my wife and I, we've always been separate in what we do, and as far as money making and that stuff is concerned. So it's really, really fun and exciting having her on the Kong family train with her own business center. And now what I'm going to do is today I'm going to hook up one of my friends that reached out because of the Mission 1090 project. I'm going up today to get him signed up with a machine, and I'm going
Oh,
to take him
that's so cool.
and I'm going to put him under her.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know, so she's going to get 2 points, and I'm going to get 4 points, and so between the two of us, we're going to get
6A.
8 points. You know, and
That's
so it's pretty dang
awesome.
exciting. And you know, in
Yeah.
combination, we're at 6A with we're getting paid like 6As with like 25 sales.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's amazing how this works. And I've decided that I want to make sure that people understand when they get involved with this, they need to understand how the marketing, or not the marketing, but the compensation plan works. Because I literally cost myself over $60,000 by not understanding how the compensation plan works. And I don't want other people to make that mistake if I can help it.
Yes.
You know, I'm going to tell people, hey, you may not be interested in the business, but that's fine. What you need to do is listen to this information and at least know what you're missing out on, what you don't care about, because you might just find out that you care about it a lot more. I know I would have done things a lot differently had I known the power of this compensation plan with this company. And so, yeah. So anyway, enough of that stuff. We want to talk about you, honey. I want to hear how, when, and why did you end up getting involved with Kong's Water?
Okay, so I was involved 3 years ago. I have to back up just a little bit. When I was 14, I was diagnosed with a couple autoimmune diseases. I was diagnosed with lupus, and then a year after that, I was diagnosed with diffuse systemic scleroderma. And I remember at time of diagnosis, my doctor said, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. Good news, you don't have lupus. Bad news is you have the scleroderma. And so it wasn't the best of news, but you know, it came with several trials throughout my youth and high school, junior high, and a lot of pain, a lot of aches and pains. And for people that are not familiar with scleroderma, sclero means hard and derma means skin. But the kind that I had was affecting my internal organs. And so it was affecting my esophagus, my lungs, you know, lots of things that way. So what it would do is it basically turns the body to stone is kind of the slang for it. It literally causes fibrosis in all the soft tissue and connective tissue. So it is a rare life-threatening autoimmune disease. And, you know, I did pretty well. I think a lot of that came with the good mindset that I had. I've always kind of been a fighter and very self-motivated, very driven. And so when I was told, you know, about that from my doctor, the prognosis, I mean, they said I could live 5-10 years. That was my kind of life expectancy. And I remember my mom and dad were heartbroken. I was also diagnosed when I was 5 years old with a circulatory disease called Raynaud's. What that disease does is your veins, they vasoconstrict. And so you have a lack of circulation. They don't really understand the cause of it. But some of the effects that it can have is that you get digital ulcers. A lot of people that I know with this disease have had amputations, or they struggle significantly with those digital ulcers, and they're very painful. I have been very blessed. I've not had to have any amputations done on any of that tissue. However, before Kong and Water, I really struggled with the digital ulcers. About every winter, spring, I would have 2 or 3 really naggy ones. And
so can I ask you something real quick? Because
yes,
you call them digital ulcers?
Ulcers. Yep. So you get them on the ends of your fingers or the ends of your toes. It was basically, they were developed because of the lack of circulation that you were getting caused from the Raynaud's. I was always told as a young girl, there's no cure. However, you just need to take care of it through prevention. So staying warm. However, we talked about relocating to a warmer climate. That necessarily isn't always the fix. There's lots of people that I know in Hawaii and that live all throughout the world in very warm climates that also struggle with this disease. So they say that it's caused from, it can be brought on through stress, through a weak immune system. I believe the numbers are in the upper 80% of people who have Raynaud's disease. It's their secondary disease, and they have a primary autoimmune disease, which I ended up finding out later in life.
How do you spell that?
Raynaud. Yeah, it's Raynaud's. Raynaud's disease. Or you can look it up, and sometimes they'll call it a phenomenon because there's 3 stages to a Raynaud's attack. Your hands will go purple or into a black color, and then they go white. And that means that there's absolutely no circulation going on. And then they'll return the blood flow and they'll go a bright red. And when that happens, your fingers, have you ever had a snowball or been out in the freezing cold and then your hands warm up and it's that tingly, fiery feeling? Mm-hmm. That's what I would experience multiple times a day. I've been desensitized to it because I've lived 20 some years with it. But in the beginning, it was very painful. I remember as a little girl going in from recess into the bathroom and just putting my hands under the hot dryer or under the hot water and just pulling back here. So I really struggled with that. But my main pain came from the scleroderma. So I actually did, technically fairly well. I lived past the life expectancy that the doctors gave me. It was an up and down battle of pain management, finding medications that I would not gain a tolerance to. My lower esophageal sphincter actually tightened significantly because of the scleroderma. And I had a really hard time swallowing. And so I lost a lot of weight. I had a hard time gaining weight because it was really hard to eat certain foods. At one point, I was pretty much on a liquid and soft food diet. I couldn't bite into a sandwich or anything like that. It would just almost stay stuck in this one little spot right there. And then I would, several minutes, feel it kind of trickle down, and it really hurt. But I spent a lot of my youth up at the University of Utah and Primary Children's doing MRIs and EKGs and echocardiograms. Every 6 months I would go do a PFT, which is a pulmonary function test for your lungs. A lot of my childhood memories came from being in a lot of doctor offices, and I always felt so out of place at my rheumatologist because I was always the youngest one. I was in, these rooms surrounded by these old people. And so I think I've always had kind of a old soul because I've been the oldest of my family, plus being surrounded by all these people with these health challenges, whether it's, lupus or rheumatoid arthritis or the scleroderma. A lot of those people do not, I don't know how to explain it. Their disease doesn't really manifest, or they're not diagnosed until the later years in their life. I was just kind of a special case. Youth getting scleroderma or being diagnosed at a young age is pretty rare, very rare. I only know a handful of people that are young that were diagnosed with scleroderma at a young age. So I'm going to really fast forward through a lot of my life. I was told in the beginning I wouldn't have kids, but I was blessed with 3 beautiful children. When I had my 3rd little girl, so I've got 2 boys and then my baby girl, that pregnancy was pretty rough for me, and the recovery was really rough. I thought at the time, I'm just older, it's my 3rd child, this is just kind of how life is, and I ignored a lot of the signs my body was flashing at me. And it took some pretty scary things for me to actually go in and start really getting some things looked at. And that's when the scleroderma really flared up in my life. Was about year 13, 14, 15, right? And there were really some hard, scary years. And I was told that the scleroderma was starting to affect my lungs. They were worried about it affecting my heart because it was the biggest muscle. I also developed a muscle wasting disease. So my left arm is, and the left side of my body is a lot smaller than my right side. It started to attack, for whatever reason, the left side of my body. So there's a lot of really scary things. But with that, you know, you're desperate and you've got this family that you're fighting your life for. And I started to really research a lot of things that could be helpful. So, you know, herbs. I went to a lady that helped me with herbs. We did the essential oils. I did chiropractic. I did counseling. I did pretty much anything because the medications that I were taking made me feel absolutely terrible. I mean, almost just like I was in this fog all the time. So when this water found me, and I say Kangen water found me because I was not looking for it at the time. We were saving saving as much money as we could so we could go do stem cell in Mexico. That's kind of like the route we were at that point, and really doing some research and saving at that point. And this was in 2015. So things got pretty scary. My mom and dad actually gave me a late in life Make-A-Wish, and they sent me to Florida, just the three of us, and we went to Disney World. And I just remember that was about the time that Kangen water found me. I started documenting a lot of things on my Facebook to keep family and friends, and also it was a great journal for me. It was a great outlet. It was a way to track how my health was going so I could report to my doctors. And I just remember one doctor's appointment. I went up and I just sobbed. I sobbed to him, and I love my rheumatologist, Dr. Colin Springville. But I remember he just really, really cared, but I could see it in his eyes. He felt helpless. I mean, he put me on every medication. And we were talking about doing a transfusion. I mean, all these things. And I just remember him being like, you know, just like almost that pause, like, I don't know what to do, you know, and that scared me. And I started documenting some things, and Timothy McGaffin's wife, Sherry, she and him reached out to me, and I feel bad to this day I didn't respond because they asked me if I wanted to try this water, and I'm going, water? Like, really? Like, I'm on these strong medications, these painkillers and these nerve medications and calcium channel blockers and steroids, and I was this puffy faced mess because of all the medications. And you know, they reached out and said something about water, and I was the same with you. I was like, water's water, that's ridiculous, see ya, you know. And I didn't respond. I just was like, that's silly. And you know, or I think it was Tim, messaged me again, and I believe I said something like, oh yeah, I'll have to think about it or something. And I was just too sick to get out and do anything. I mean, I remember laying in a bathtub of hot water and just refilling it time and time again because I didn't have the energy to just even get out of the tub and get dressed. I'd lay there for hours and hours because that's what just kind of soothed me the most. And there was one day I was sitting on the couch and he showed up with water, and 2 days later, he showed up with more water, and 2 days later, more water. And we just kind of kept this system going. The second day he showed up, he picked up my he went to pick up my empty jugs, and they were literally full. And he's like, you don't drink water? And I'm like, not really. I mean, I drink Dr. Pepper a lot, you know? And he's like, he explained to me, no, you have to drink water. And he talked to me about the importance of being hydrated and how important that's going to be to flush out, you know, all of the acidity and the toxins. And you know, we didn't have a long discussion, but I just remember going, oh yeah, that makes sense. So I tried, and every day I just tried to drink a little bit more. And it took a couple weeks to build up to drinking the amount of water I was supposed to. But Tim was a wonderful cheerleader for me. He encouraged me and kept me going. And you know, I really, really appreciate, and I owe a lot to Tim, because if it wasn't for this water, it scares me to think of where I would be right now. So I remember distinctly, Changin water found me a few days after this experience, and this I will never forget. But I had kids needing to wake up to get ready for school, and I slept in. It was like 10:30, and I was part of kind of a carpool with my next door neighbor, Liz Anderson, and I woke up and went, shiz! My kids were still asleep. I hurried and texted her and I said, I'm so sorry I slept in. I'm going to hurry and get my kids off to school. I'm sorry, leaving your kids this morning. And I didn't feel good. I was having a really rough night finding comfort. I was in a lot of pain and just tossing, turning all night. So I slept in. And just as I was walking down the stairs to go to my son's room, I got a text back from her. And she said, Cody walked over to my house this morning and he got himself ready and just said his mom was really sick this morning. And he asked for a ride. And so that was really hard as a mom when I couldn't even take care of my kids the way they needed to be taken care of and the way I wanted to take care of them. And that was a big aha moment for me. Like, I'm in a rough shape. If my kids recognize that I'm that sick, that they can get up, get breakfast, get dressed, and find a way to school. And I felt really, really tough in that moment. And a few days later, this water found me. And so it's just been a really cool journey. I will say I started off with 9.5 water. Tim asked me what level I wanted to start off with. And I'm one of those that, if I'm going to get a massager, I'm going to find out something works. I'm going full throttle. And so he explained to me, I'll probably have some crummy detox symptoms, which I did. I felt really crummy. I felt like I was getting the flu. I had body aches and pains. Had a really massive headache for a few days, heartburn, really flared up. And he just explained to me that is those toxins being pulled out by this Changin water. Keep drinking, keep drinking. And, I was in this really bad cycle of pain management with my nerve pain, with the fibromyalgia that I also have that I forgot to mention. And this Changin water, I can't even explain to you. Like, it was about 2 weeks and I started noticing a significant difference in my pain, the nerve pain, the pain that I just could not ever get control of and never find relief of. And that was what finally I was like, Tim never talked to me about price, about the business, about buying. It was just sharing. And it was me that was like, okay, so how much does one of these cost? And, when he told me, I was like, okay, well, we're saving for stem cell. I don't know how I'm going to make that work. But, in the back of my mind, I just knew that there was going to be a way I was going to get this machine. We were piled up in medical debt. And a purchase like this was something that was really uncharacteristic of us to just go and do. And my husband was out of town. And I remember one day I thought, you know what? I have been able to get up. I've been able to get some laundry done, unload my dishwasher. I am not constantly thinking about my pain. This is like the best improvement I have had in weeks, if not months and months. And that's what sold me. I was not completely pain-free, but like I said, it was a significant difference that I was like, I could get my life back in order, And so my husband was out of town and I called him and I said, Spencer, guess what? I'm buying a machine right now. I am opening up a credit card, 0% interest credit card for, I believe it was 21 months back then. Capital One was doing an awesome promotion. I think we got like $500 cash back for spending $4,500 or more within 60 days or 90 days. I can't remember, but I was like, that works. And I just said, I'm doing it. And, I really, really appreciate Spencer for supporting me in that. He thought it was cuckoo. We actually had our machine several months. I think 2 or 3 months before I could even get him to drink a glass of the water. He thought I was completely nuts. And he's like, babe, if this is in your head and it's working, like, I support whatever helps you. And I really appreciate him supporting me in this because I have seen and watched a lot of marriages or a lot of relationships where one spouse is not supportive of this. And it's something that I've taken for granted, I'm sure, through the last 3 years that I've had my machine. So I really want to thank Spencer for supporting me in this and allowing me to make this purchase. And, you know, the crazy thing with Kangen water is I get a lot of questions. How long did you drink the water till you started noticing, you know, big differences? And, you know, it's so individualized, but I will say the longer you drink the water, the more changes that are awesome is what, you know, you're going to see. And I remember just about 2 years or a year and a half after having my machine, like I used to have these great big calcium deposits on my kneecaps, and it would be really painful to kneel down. I own a dance studio and I'm a tumbling coach. So it was really hard to kneel down on the ground and, you know, or mop my floor. And my little girl had spilt paint on the floor, and I went to kneel down to mop it up. And I was like, wait, I can kneel down on my knees. And I'm not sure exactly when those dissolved, but I'm not kidding. I don't have calcium deposits, and I had to go and visit with surgeons to decide if it was a smart choice to have those removed. Sometimes when they go and remove those, it will actually tell your body to make more calcium deposits. And so I held off on the surgery, but I mean, they were significant. And that was an awesome improvement that I've seen. I can't make any health claims saying, oh, this Kangen water has cured my disease or anything like that, because it's not the water. It's not Kangen water that's cured anything. The water puts your body in homeostasis, so your body that is designed by an amazing Heavenly Father, it can work the way it was created to function. And, you know, I can tell you that if I don't drink my water the way I need to, so I need to drink a gallon of water a day for my weight. And if I don't, I can start seeing some of those aches and pains sneak in, or my Raynaud's disease is flared up a little bit. But as long as I am drinking my water faithfully and, you know, no soda pop, sports drinks, I feel amazing. And you cannot put a price tag on that, J. John. You know, you just can't. And until you have been in that darkness of desperation, I can't explain in words what this has done for me. It's been one of the biggest blessings in my life, next to my family and my beliefs, for sure.
Yeah, amen. And you know, here it is. This is the second time you've made me cry.
Oh.
I'm a big baby. I cry about everything, but things like this really, really do a number on me, because I watched my mom throughout her life. She only had a 6th grade education because she could never stay healthy long enough to make it through a school year. No. And when she passed away, she was taking 22 different medications. She developed a cyst on the backside of one of her kidneys that poisoned her spinal fluid and turned her into a vegetable. And in 4 days, she was gone. Oh. And, you know, it wasn't until that was in 1990. And it wasn't until 1993 when I read the book World Without Cancer that I came face to face with what had happened to my mom. Mm-hmm. And literally, she was murdered by doctor. It's okay. It's legal for them to go ahead, as long as they're prescribing all of these approved medications. They can shove them down people's throats till the cows come home. And if those people die from it, no big deal. You know, it's no thing. But if they try to prescribe something like Kangen water or something natural, then they're in all kinds of crap, you know.
Yeah. Well, one thing too is, you know, Kangen water, there's so many awesome properties, and I know we won't do like a full-on explanation, but you know, it really makes sense to me that, you know, our bodies are over 80% water, or 75. I'm not exactly sure on the percentage, 75, 80, somewhere right in there. And, you know, it only makes sense that why are we not having these discussions about the water that we're drinking? You know, you go on Instagram or you go on Facebook or you go on these blogs, you know, lifestyle, and it's all about food and it's about exercise and diet. You never, ever hear about people talking about water. And if they are trying to maintain an alkaline diet, you know, they're pumping all this fake alkaline water through people that they get in a store that's just baking soda and water. I mean, you look on the back of ingredients. You know, I had an awesome experience yesterday. I've been talking with an Olympian wrestler, and he put on his Instagram story this certain alkaline water. It's like 10 pH water. And my husband's friend, who's also a wrestling coach, he messaged my husband and said, hey, I think you guys need to reach out to this Olympian wrestler. And I did. And you know what? He was so cool. He sat and messaged me, and I asked him to send me the ingredients that are on the back of his water. And it said spring water, potassium, and sodium bicarbonate. I don't know what it was. Anyways, it was baking soda and water. And so I was able to explain to him the good alkaline water and the bad alkaline water. And unfortunately, our society accepts alkaline water like, it's just mind-blowing to me that it's a scam. It's baking soda and water. You could add baking soda to anything and make it alkaline. You know, and this, what we have is truly special. I mean, I often tell people, you know, imagine a picture of just darkness. The lights are out, it's dark. And then imagine a room that's illuminated with a light bulb. And that's how I can describe Kangen water. Without it in your life, it feels dark. It's just, there's something missing. When you have Kangen water and you make it a part of your life and make that lifestyle change, guess what? It's like there's a light that's triggered. And, you know, that's how I feel with my health. I've had this, like, something's clicked in my body. And I know it's because it's this alive water. It has the ability to increase the voltage in your body. It hydrates you 6 times faster than anything else. It hydrates your brain in 30 seconds and your muscles in 1 to 2 minutes. And, you know, there's just, you feel recharged. I mean, I woke up this morning and chugged down my water. And I mean, I feel wonderful when I do that.
Yeah.
And it truly, you know, and I had my machine a couple months before I started to promote it. And I remember laying in bed one night, and my husband and I were just talking about how amazing this has been. And he said, you know, I really think you should start sharing this with others. And I said, yeah, but I don't want to be this salesy person. I don't want to, like, push it down people's throats and be this crazy, you know, like, buy for me kind of thing. And then I stopped and thought, you know, what if Tim wouldn't have done that for me? Where would I be? And so I hope people that listen to these videos and that watch our posts and that, you know, put up with all of our Facebook stuff, I hope they understand why we're doing it. It's because I'm so grateful that someone did that for me, and I'm trying to reach out to someone that's desperate and that's wanting something better in their life. And, you know, I've learned a lot about health on this journey. I've truly learned that health is it's a trifecta. It's a triangle.
Yeah.
You can be considered a healthy, perfect BMI, you know, spiritual giant. But if your finances are in crisis, you are not in perfect health. You know, you can have amazing finances, but if you can't enjoy what you've been blessed with monetarily, you're not in good health.
Right.
If your spiritual side is not in check, which I just put a post up a few days ago, that's something that I'm working better at. And that's the exciting thing, is this journey never ends. It's a continuous triangle of reaching that, I guess you could say, striving for perfection. And I'm so grateful for this Kangen water. I really am. I'm so grateful for the financial blessings it's brought us. I'm so blessed to watch friends and family find better health because of this water. I'm so grateful and blessed that my kids have a mom that can do things with them. I'm so grateful that I don't have to just lay in bed all day like I used to and just muster up just enough energy to go finish teaching classes or whatever I absolutely have to do. I actually can do those things and enjoy it. And it's been such a blessing.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and you have been a blessing, and you will continue to be a blessing to people for the rest of your living days. And, you know, I'll never forget your post. I remember you said something about the medications, and I remember you said something about that you were that you were praying to die.
Mhm.
Every morning, the first thing you would do is pray that God takes you today. And every night before you went to bed, you would say that you hope that you don't wake up. And I remember you talking about the different medications you were on, that you were on a lot of medications, and then also that you were trying to sell your dance studio. You were, trying to liquidate things so that when you did go, that your kids and your husband wouldn't have such a struggle,
Well,
financially.
I had just bought property to build a new dance studio before this. My autoimmune disease was just so triggered. I mean, it was the biggest flare up of my life. I had bought property in hopes to build an awesome dance studio, gymnastic studio, wrestling studio. My husband's a wrestling coach. I mean, it was like our dream. And the crazy thing is I finally had to face reality that's not going to happen. I'm too sick. And I sold that property. And right after that, this water found me. And I'm not telling you, there is a reason that I had this flare up. There is a reason,
I don't believe in coincidences. I had a guy on the show a while back. If you ever run into people with kidney issues, you want to share Ralph with them. Whenever somebody says anything in any of the groups about kidneys, I just fire back, here, meet Ralph. And I fired that video to him, and at the end of that video, he said something really profound. Was when I asked him if he had any last thing he wanted to say to people. And he said, well, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that God puts us into the positions and puts us in touch with the people who we need to be in touch with so that we can do what we're supposed to do. Because he had a K8 and he was just sicker than all get out. He was stage 4+ kidney failure. He was on the verge of going onto dialysis. And he came to my house to drop off. This was back in June. We were getting prepared to go down to San Diego. And he came over to the house to give me some supplies that I needed to take down to Fred Brown, because the two of them were talking about opening up a water store up here, but he was just simply too sick to be able to do it. And so he told Fred, I can't do it. And he brought all this stuff up to me. And we sat out by his truck on the street after we loaded everything up and started talking. And he told me what his situation was. And I told him, dude, this is what you need to do. And I told him, this is what I would do. I'm no doctor, but if I were in your position, this is what I would do. Take it or leave it, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I told him, first thing in the morning when you get up, you drink 8, 12, 16 ounces of 11.5. And then in between, you drink all the 9.5 you can. Every time you pee, drink as much of it as you can. When you pee again, drink as much as you can. When you pee again at noon, you drink another 8, 12, 16 ounces of 11.5. And then after that, every time you pee, 9.5, 9.5, 9.5. And then the last thing before you go to bed is you drink as much 11.5 as you can drink and then go to bed. And he added a twist to that. He threw in pure cranberry juice, the pure stuff, not the stuff with any sugars in it or anything. And he went with an 80-20 mix, 80% Kangen water, 20% this cranberry juice. And then he continued with that protocol. And 2 months later, he called me up and said, he was all ecstatic because he's no longer in danger of being on dialysis. He's down to stage 2 now. And he's on his way to completely being out of the woods on that. And,
wow.
So it's really exciting. But what he said is, I don't believe I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that God put you in this position
my path. Yeah.
to be able to tell me this, because nobody else has told me this. I've been drinking the water and it really hasn't been making that much of a difference for me. But, what he needed is, like Dr. Michael says, people that are really sick, they desperately need the 11.5 water. Mm-hmm. I know it's something that Enagic says not for drinking and all that stuff. But as for me, I drink 28 ounces of it before I go to bed. Last thing, right before I'm ready to go to bed, I drink 28 ounces of 11.5 and boom, I am out like a light.
Uh-huh. See, I'll take the 11.5 if I feel a cold coming on or just feeling just a little gunky or a headache starting, if I've had a stressful week, and it seems to always do the trick. It's pretty amazing, and I've really researched, a lot of things with acidity and oxidation and, this whole thing, it just makes sense. I mean, truly, this is the most powerful anti-inflammatory you can find is the Changin water. When I study and find out about oxidation and learning that tap water is as oxidizing as soda pop, what? Because I get a lot of people that say, oh, I drink a lot of water anyways. I'm like, yeah, and it's aging you as fast as soda, and learning that a lot of diseases are basically a symptom because you're too acidic. And there's beginning, there's intermediate, and there's advanced stages of being too acidic.
Yeah.
And, there's just dehydration is such a huge part of health. And, I truly believe that probably like 98% of the world is dehydrated, and we never hear about it though, and one thing too, I've told a lot of people, and I love my rheumatologist. I mean, I think that there are some really great people in the health system. I really do. And I think that they're doing sometimes the best they've been taught. But, he's one that I've been able to have very open conversations about Changin water. And, he's very curious. We just need to set up a time. I've not had to go to him for a long time, so that's part of it. But he's amazed at my blood work and what it showed. But, I don't know. It's pretty incredible to learn that so many symptoms of being too acidic is, diseases.
Yeah.
And if we can get to that root cause, it's a game changer. It really is, and anyways.
Yeah. That's the thing. This company is absolutely perfect for me. And I believe it's really perfect for you as well, because you seem to be the kind of person who's kind of like me. I don't like chopping away at the branches of things. I want to go right to the root of the problem. I want to go rip that tree right out by the roots. I'm not going to just be chopping away, cutting off leaves and things like that. And, what I talk to people about every day is that your body is 75% or so water. And so that means that water is 75% of the health equation.
Yes.
The other 25%, what is that other 25%? It's diet, it's exercise, it's mindset, and it's environment.
Yep.
Our environment that we live in is toxic.
Mm-hmm.
And, like Sam Tran, when he came in for his monthly visit, he showed us this thing where they were up in Colorado. There were some researchers up in Colorado, and they just, for the fun of it, put out a bucket and collected some rainwater. And then they went.
I read that. Yes.
And you see all this plastic in there, and he's showing us here's the.
Yeah, he put it under a microscope and found a bunch of plastic.
Yeah, and that's in rainwater.
Yeah. I got off track. I know exactly what I was going to say about my doctor is, of all those health visits, never once was I asked by him, how much water have you drank today? How much water do you drink in a week?
Yeah. They don't know what they don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And see, that's the thing. This is another aspect of this company that's really super interesting, because I tell people, and this is the God's honest truth, you guys. This is by far and away the most difficult business that I have ever participated in all of my years. I had my last time clock punching job when I was 19 years old. Now I'm 54 years young, getting younger every year. Mm-hmm. And I have never experienced anything more difficult than this. And also, on the flip side of that coin, it is also the most rewarding thing that I have ever done. There is absolutely nothing like having somebody call you up crying, thanking you for introducing them to this water because it's changed their life. Our motto is change your water, change your life. It's not change your water, change your house, change your water, change your job, change your water, change your clothes or your car. No, it's change your life. And it does. It changes your life. And it makes total sense when you give your body that 75% of the equation. Everybody, like you say, everybody's all into exercise and diet and that kind of thing. In all these, Facebook sites that you're involved with, everybody's yammering on about diet and exercise. And they don't understand that you can't possibly eat enough food to give your body the antioxidants that it needs in this world we live in. And so, yeah, we have something here that is so special, that is so life-changing, that, once I started feeling it and noticing the difference, I simply had to find out why. Because like the information that I watched, that, the Answers for a Thirsty World video, that really doesn't go into any details about what's happening here. Why is this happening? Why is it such a powerful antioxidant? And so once I started feeling some difference, then I realized, holy moly, I do need to do this business, because I've got to share this water with people. I have to. And it kind of stemmed from that book, World Without Cancer. This is another thing, just like your post that literally changed my life, and I'll forever be in debt to you, honey. Is at the end of that book, he says, you now have the ability to live in a world without cancer. And the only reason that you have this ability is because someone out there somewhere was gracious enough to bring this information to your attention. Can you do any less for others? And that just hit me upside the head like a brick. And I've literally been sharing that story now for 27 years. And I just can't help it. And it's the same thing with this. People get mad at me because I won't shut up. Like on the golf course, one of my buddies, I shorted a putt, didn't get it to the hole. It was right on line, but I didn't hit it hard enough. And he's like, yeah, it looks like somebody needs to get some testosterone supplements. And I, of course, go, I've got the best testosterone supplement in the world with Kong, and the other buddy starts laughing, and he goes, we should start doing a parlay or whatever, a betting thing, and how many times Jay's going to bring up Kong's water during a golf round, and see who can win the money,
Yeah, that's funny.
And, I've had people just say, shut up, I don't want to hear about it, and that kind of thing. And it's just like, hey, whatever, this is something that you're going to have as this continues to, like, there are scientific studies coming out about this water.
Yeah, there are.
Weekly, monthly, yearly. And I put out a post the other day about, how many scientific studies are coming out daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly about your product. How many? This product is going to change the world. Our motto is change the world, because that's what we're going to do. We're changing the world by changing lives.
Yeah,
and
we've not even seen the beginning of this product. I mean, not even.
It is so
it's
exciting
to be part of. And my hope, I guess, is just, I hope people won't wait until they're surrounded in that darkness that I was. You can take action now to prevent these things from happening to your life. You hear people say, oh, so-and-so got diagnosed with this or that, and they're just like, oh, that's so sad. And it's so, but it's like, I think the person who's being diagnosed with these things, these health issues, they think it's not going to be me. You hear younger and younger kids getting diagnosed with diabetes and heart disease and kidney issues and cancer and, all these really devastating trials. And my heart breaks for them, because I know what it's like to have such a hard thing in your life. My heart literally breaks, but I hope people will start taking action before those things happen in their life. And, because they can, but unfortunately, most people won't take this serious until they are desperate, so I just am kind of like, I don't know, like, I just wish there was a way I could get through to people to take more of the preventative, precautionary, type take on this. But unfortunately, the people that I sell a lot more machines to are the people that were in my shoes, that are already in a high crisis. But I hope that's going to be, and I think that's why we're so persistent, is so that we can get through the minds of people to take action before they're in real health trouble. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And another thing I gotta mention to you, Britt, is that one of the main reasons I started this platform is I wanted to share stories. And there's two reasons for that. Number one, it was a story that changed my life. It wasn't all the technical information. It wasn't all the, the information about the water or anything like that. It was
testimonials.
It was your story. That was the first time in all those months that I actually hit that see more button, because I never did hit that in any of Tim's posts. I never hit that see more. But so that's why I'm so passionate about literally begging the members of the Cog family to come on the show and share their story, for crying out loud.
I have not had a digital ulcer in 3+ years.
Oh, I love it. And
I have another friend with the same disease as I who has experienced the exact same thing. But I know thousands of people through social media who struggle with them on a daily basis. And I'm just like, people, give this a try, an honest try. Drink enough of the water and make it a daily, fresh from your home lifestyle change, and you will see benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's the hard part of it right there. That's what makes this video or this company so difficult, is just the number of people who won't look at it. And that's the heartbreaking part. And, I'm one of those people that I've always been into, well, not always. It wasn't until I was 27 years old that I read that book, because, I always encourage people to get the book World Without Cancer and read it.
Yeah.
Because what that book did for me is it convinced me that I needed to look at prevention. I needed to look at a different direction than what I was doing. And I was not sick. I did not have any pains. I did not have any issues, except for my left knee. I'd blown it out and had surgery on it. And that was the only thing that I had any kind of an issue with. Amazingly enough, I was the last of 11 children. And actually, I was second to the last of 12 children. My twin sister, she passed away after 26 hours because they had to work on me. They spent so much time working on me, they had to do a full blood transfusion. I always say, no wonder I'm so much different than everybody in my family. I've got different blood. I do. It's true. I had to have different blood put in me when I was born. And I think they spent so much time working on me that they neglected to take care of Gigi. And we would have been JJ and Gigi if she was there. But I also think my life would have been a lot different, because I would have had a little baby sister that I would have needed to take care of. And I don't think that I would have been such a little POS hellraiser as a kid. And, and so, but I didn't have any health problems. And I never really even considered health until the day that I found the book World Without Cancer and started reading it. And that book was another thing that literally changed the course and direction and thought process of my life. Because after reading that book, I realized it's important that you take a positive, proactive approach to your health. And so I always encourage people to read that book, especially people who are healthy, that don't think that this is something they should look at, and why wait until you're sick to do something about it? Evening Christmas, kid, come on.
Oh, yes.
And that's Absolutely. The hardest part right there for us. I know it's hard for you. I know it's extremely difficult for me. It's heartbreaking. Yeah. Every time I hear about somebody with cancer, it literally just breaks my heart. Yeah. And I can't help but reach out and tell them, and they're going to take it or leave it. But it's like, for me, I've done my job. When it comes to the World Without Cancer and killing cancer, not people, I feel like it's my duty to share this information with them. And once I've done that, then that's my job. My job is to share it with them and give them encouragement and educate them as best I can. But it's their job to make a decision, you know. And like this will probably resonate pretty good with you. I had a buddy that came in one day after I gave him a copy of the book, and he comes in going, Jay, you got to prove to me that this is true. And I look at him, I go, Dwangerous. His name's Dwayne. I call him Dwangerous because he's always doing dangerous, stupid things, you know. And I go, Dwangerous, I don't have to prove anything to you, buddy. I gave you the book. I'm going to eat my apricot kernels. You do whatever you want. I'm going to eat my apple seeds, my apricot kernels, my plum kernels, my peach kernels, all that kind of stuff. You do what you want. I did my job. And I feel good about it. As long as I've done my job of trying to show this water to people, as long as I've shared the Killing Cancer Not People or World Without Cancer with them, then I've done what I'm supposed to do. I've done what God has commissioned me to do in this regard. And I can't go and shove water down their throat or slam apricot kernels down their throat, or I can't even force them to read a book or to watch a video.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what brings me like comfort at the end of the day is just, you know, I'm doing all I can, and it's up to other people to decide what they want to do. And I know there's lots of people that haven't purchased a machine, and it's something that they're working towards, which, you know, that's great. And I just, as long as I'm doing the education, people can take it for how they want. But it warms my heart when I hear those messages from people saying, thank you. You know, I no longer have to be on my acid reflux medications, and I no longer have to tell this or that. So, you know, we've got some good things going, and I think we have to realize we can't change others, and we just can change ourselves. And I'm so grateful that I've made this change for me and my family, for sure.
Absolutely. You know, and I know that this thing is going to be getting watched by people now that it's recorded. It's going to go up on the YouTube channel, the Kong Family Show YouTube channel. And so it's going to be available for people to listen to as time goes by. And we never know who is going to watch it, who's going to see it, who's going to manage to have it roll across their screen. But my guess is there's going to be some people as the days, weeks, years, months go by that they're going to hear this and they're going to want to hook up with Brittany Dyches. They're going to want to work with you. They're going to want to come get a machine from you. They're going to want to pick your brain. They're going to want to hear your story more, whatever. Those people, how do they get a hold of you? Whatever information you'd like to give, whether it's phone numbers, email address, website,
Sure.
Facebook handle, Instagram, whatever. You give out whatever. So they can
I'm
look
on
up to you.
Facebook. My name's Brittany Dyches, Brittany Dyches, Dyches. People pronounce it ditches all the time, or Dyches. It's Dykes. I have a Kangen Water Facebook group. It's called Kangen Water with Brittany. So you can look up there and ask to be request to join that group. I'm also on Instagram. Brittany and Dykes is where you can find me on Instagram. My phone number is 435-851-1358. My email is Britt, so like BRITT, justdance@gmail.com. So
Awesome. I love it. You know, that's what I hope, is that people who resonate with each other will get together. My thing about this water is I really don't care who people get their machine from. I just want to see them get their machine. I'm always happy for somebody that gets their machine. You know, I had somebody who come and got water from me for a couple weeks and then got irritated with Tim and whatever, you know, it's just stupid. But she and her husband decided to go get their machine from somebody else because of that. And I didn't get mad at her. I said, hey, you know, congratulations. I'm glad you got a machine. That would have been great if you'd have gotten it from me. But the important part is you got it. And so I'm here. If you ever need my help, if you ever have any questions, if there's ever anything I can do, anybody I can talk to to help you, you just let me know, because I'm here.
Thank you.
I don't care that for me, it's all about getting the machine.
Absolutely.
I believe in the law of attraction, and I believe what goes around comes around. And, you know, I believe if I have that attitude you know, and I keep doing what I'm doing, there's going to be plenty. There's 7 billion people on this planet, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, there was plenty of people for me to talk to.
And this is and we have to mention this is a global company. All the infrastructure of a global business is at hand with your machine. You know, this machine is a tax write-off. You can, you know, it's so many ways. I mean, this company is phenomenal at the way they've made it so financially available for people to get. I mean, it's pretty special.
Yeah, there's some really exciting things coming down the pike that
yes.
Now we're going to just kind of keep them wrapped up. But I'll tell you what, we got somebody coming on the team here soon that's going to literally change the world.
Oh yeah,
what he's doing and how he, you know, he's already developed the technology. Now it's just a matter of you know, it's going to be even bigger with Kong. And so this is something that people are going to be hearing about. They're going to be learning about whether they want to or not, because it's just so constantly getting out there. You know, the science behind it, like Coach Mabry, who's going to be on the show tomorrow for his weekly visit, his big thing is the science part of it. Everything he does, every time he posts about something, he shows the science behind what he's saying. And I think that's phenomenal. And I just am so grateful that he's willing to come on the show once a week and share his knowledge. You know, he's 67 years old. His wife is 64. Wow. And you look at the two of them and they're a couple of specimens of the human body, you know, and they had issues too. He had cancer, she had issues and that kind of thing. And now they're just the spitting image of health, especially for somebody that's 67 years young. And, you know, so it's really exciting. It's such a blessing to be able to have people like you that are willing to come and share your incredible story, your, you know, heart-wrenching and heart exhilarating journey of, you know, where you were and where you are now. It's absolutely fantastic. And your story is going to change a heck of a lot more lives than just mine. And I just love you so much, honey. I just can't tell you how much I appreciate you being willing to share your story, not only 2.5 years ago on Facebook, but also being willing to take your precious time to come in here and meet with me and share this thing out so that we can continue to get you out there. And so we're just a little over an hour in, and so I just would like to give you one last opportunity to just say, hey, you know, if there's any last message that you would like to give to the family today, if you could, you know, if there's any last thing you'd like to say, please do, and then we can get on with changing the world.
Yeah, I mean, I every time I think of Kangen water, that image of the dark and the light comes to mind, and I just think as long as we are becoming a product of the product, we are applying the amazing things that Kangen water has to offer and implement them in our lives, you know, taking full advantage of drinking the water every day, taking the pesticides off our fruits and vegetables, we are going to attract people that want the same that we're having, you know? And so I just think, and I'm not sure, it was on Michelle Rayleigh's call, someone said, be a product of the product. And, you know, that's so true. And I think that's why I have attracted so many people and spiking their interest is not just because of my amazing health journey, but just there's something different and they want to be part of that, you know, and they're interested. And so I just think, you know, your lives can truly, it's like a light flipping on, and we can help people get that in their lives for sure. And I just think keep doing what you're doing, J. John. I love these episodes that you're doing, this Kong family water show. I just think it's truly awesome that it's taking a lot of time out of your day and trying to get people to come on and you know, I just really, I think a big applause to you for taking that time, because it's helping a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. You know, that's what I have to do. And if you got anybody that has stories to tell that you can convince them, hey,
you need to get my husband on here.
Yes, I would love to have him on. Okay. And I'd love to get Michelle Rayleigh on too. I've reached out to her, but she's hesitant to come on. Maybe somebody like you asking her to come on might help. And you know, there's a lot of people. I am kind of surprised at how many people in the family who have such incredible stories to tell. They won't come share them. I don't understand why, but I'm just being patient with them and continuing to reach out and say, you know, I can always use guests. I didn't realize how difficult it would be and what a daunting task it would turn out to be to try and get guests on the show 5 days a week, let alone 7. And because ultimately, this is something that doesn't stop. You don't, like Sam Tran says, you know, people ask him if he's still doing that water thing. He's like, are you still doing that breathing thing? You know, it's like, this isn't a job. This is life.
It's life. Yeah. It's a life changer. I mean, it really is. And it's a lifestyle change, you know, but you have to take action and you have to make the purchase. You have to imply it in your life. You know, I have some people on my team that, you know, they've purchased a machine, but it's sitting in their basement or it's sitting, you know, they're not taking full advantage. And that makes me sad, you know, but I think we just need to focus on the people that are using it every day, because those are the people that are feeling the full benefits. And it's truly awesome.
Yes.
And there's no denying it. There's no denying it.
Amen. And you know what it comes down to is it comes down to the fact that God made the human body as it's literally the most amazing machine on the planet. You know, we humans have made a lot of really cool machines and such, but there's nothing comparable to the human body. And this is an amazing machine, and it is truly mind-boggling what this thing will do when you give it what it needs. And when you give it the tools that it needs to become its own mechanic, that's exactly what it does. It goes ahead and just fixes itself, as long as you don't wait too long. Like Dr. Barry Oss says, he says there is no such thing as an incurable disease. There is a point of no return, but there is no incurable disease if you start giving your machine what it needs to fix itself soon enough.
I believe that with my whole heart. I do. I believe that there are root causes of things, and I believe that we can get to those root causes for sure. So it's exciting.
Yes, it is. It is super exciting. We got a lot of great stuff going on with this, you guys. And, you know, hopefully watching this show today is going to help you to have the confidence to make a decision and make an investment. Remember, Kong's Water is an investment. It is not an expense. An expense is something that costs you. An investment is something that builds you and makes you money and makes you, you know, if you're investing
add value to your life. Yes.
You're investing in this. It's not an expense. People have got to get out of that mindset that it's too expensive. No, it's an investment that will last you for the rest of your life. Like the guy I met at the first little hoo-ha I went to, and he's had his machine for 35 years. And that was 2 years ago. So now his machine's 37 years old, and he said it still works just as good as it worked when I smuggled it in from Japan all those years ago. Long before it was even available here in America, he had a machine. And, you know, and it's still lasting. And so when you take a look at the price of this machine and then extrapolate it out over 25, 35, 45 years, it is dirt cheap, for crying out loud. You can't find that value anywhere, you know. I defy anybody to find a better value than Kong's Water if they'll actually look at the value versus looking at the price. And so that's a big part of what we're trying to do around here, because we are the Kong family and we are here to change the world. And we are changing this world one glass of hydrogen-rich, oxygen-saturated, incredibly hydrating Kangen water, 9.5 at a time. One lightning bolt in a box, one incredibly special, interesting, exciting guest, one amazing family at a time. Brittany, thank you so much, honey. I love you so much. And I wish you all the best. And you know, if you have any great stories you want to tell, if you have anybody that wants to share stories, please tell them to scream at me. And if you've got something you want to add, you're always welcome to come on the show and share it. We can always use your wisdom, and just, you know, it's always wonderful getting to see that beautiful smile and just see how great you're doing. And, you know, updates are always going to be a lot of fun. So anyway, let's get out there and let's go change the world, kids.
Yay!
Get your hugs. Your hugs. These things are really
Yes,
important.
for
You gotta have your hugs and your Hoo-Deehoos. So,
Okay, John. Thank
love you,
you.
honey. Have a great day. Get out
Okay,
there,
you
change the
too.
world, starting with your own.
Yes. Bye, John.
Bye, honey. Thanks again.